Well, I guess we can say the Phillies Mets rivalry is back because I loved every second of the ending of the ball game. Alvarado, just that pure emotion after striking out Dom Smith, willing to take on the entire bench, just chirping him all the way. Loved it. The bench clearing, the bullpens coming in. Then you get Rhys Hoskins staring down Castro after getting pitched inside, forcing the walk, and that made the benches clear. Just the intensity at the end of that game, because the rest of the game honestly was pretty boring because the Mets were terrible runners in scoring position, and the Phillies just generated nothing on offense. Their only two runs were because of a wild pitch by Stroman, which scored both of those runs. So, yeah, a very uneventful ball game from that standpoint, but the end of the ball game was just spectacular. It was fantastic. And the Phillies bullpen, too. Fantastic. Phillies bullpen, they shut down the Mets today. They definitely did. Even though the Mets, like I said, they had all the chances in the world to score today. They left so many runners in scoring position for the Mets. They were 1 for 14 with runners in scoring position, and they left 10 men on base. So, yeah, the Mets had all the chances in the world to win this ball game. They didn't do it. They did not do it. And the Phillies, they were over 5 with runners in scoring position. But, yeah, they did have 2 chances with the bases loaded. They did cash in technically thanks to Stroman in that second inning. And they had their chance in that 7th inning to tack on some more runs with the bases loaded, but they weren't able to cash in there. But, hey, the bullpen shut it down. And also for Coonrod, too, coming in to close this game when Hector Neris was not available as well. So, and the Phillies, they didn't have anyone available in this game, basically. You have no Bryce Harper because of the situation with it getting hit in the face, but he's also dealing with some wrist soreness at the same time because the ball also hit his wrist when it hit his face. You got JT Realmuto dealing with a minor injury, so hopefully it's not too serious with him. You got Didi Gregorius going on COVID protocol, so hopefully that situation with Didi is not too serious. Hopefully it's just like a contact tracing type of situation. And yeah, you lost. You don't have that many people today. I think that's the basic summary from tonight's ball game. And also Joe Girardi wasn't the manager tonight either because he was attending his daughter's graduation, so you had the bench boss taking over as the bench coach taking over as the manager today. So Philly's missing a lot of people in this game. So yeah, so the lineup was definitely interesting, without a doubt. Hey, they won the ball game too. I'm completely surprised of how they won this goddamn ball game. But hey, Chase Anderson, honestly, for a 5th starter, that's definitely what you would expect from him. Goes 5 innings, and he only allowed 1 run. He was fine today. He was actually pretty good. He got into some jams, he definitely did, but he managed to get out of those because, once again, the Mets, they couldn't hit with runners in scoring position, and they were terrible in those clutch situations. So you got to give a lot of credit to the Phillies pitching in this ballgame because, in the end, the pitching is what won the Phillies the ballgame today. So, and like I said, not much stuff going on in this ballgame. So, go to the 2nd inning. Phillies get the bases loaded, and you have to deal with Chase Anderson trying to bat with the bases loaded and 2 outs. You get down to a 2-strike count, and Chase Anderson does strike out, but it looks like McCann got screwed up with where the ball was going, and he completely missed it. It goes off the umpire's leg and goes into a completely different direction, and McCann has no idea where the ball is, so that allows Brad Miller and Andrew Knapp to score because of that wild pitch. So the Phillies go up 2-0 off of a strikeout with 2 outs in the 2nd inning. So, hey, you'll take the chances when you can when you don't have the best lineup out there. Then the Mets, they eventually do tack on another run. This is when JoJo Romero is pitching, and I think Chase Anderson did come out for that 6th inning, but he eventually did come out of the ballgame because he did allow some base runners, and JoJo Romero did allow a hit to Dominic Smith, which drove in that 1 run for the Mets. So that's all you're scoring for today's ball game. Then you go into the bottom of the 7th inning. The Phillies get the bases loaded. You got Andrew McCutchen with a chance to drive in some runs. Doesn't happen. He strikes out on a pitch that's down the middle. And today, too, the umpire definitely wasn't the best. And that's basically, at this point, I would say something we're really used to because the umpire strike zone was just very off and on. And for both sides, too. There were just sometimes he had a pitch where one time it was a strike, the next time it wasn't. It was a very off and on night for the blue behind the plate. It definitely was. But the juiciness of everything comes in that top of the 8th inning with Alvarado on the mound. So The first batter, Jose Alvarado, pitches. He faces Jeff McNeil, and he gets hit by the pitch. And then Pete Alonso flies out to center field, and you got this fantastic decisions by Roman Quinn and Odubel Herrera. Both of them are calling each other off to catch the ball. The ball was eventually caught by Odubel Herrera, but they collide with each other. Quinn's limping a little bit, and thank God no one got hurt on that situation because there was really no one on the bench you can bring into the ball game. Because at that point, McCutchen came out of the ball game, Joyce went to left field, and Quinn went to right field. So really have no other options there. So thank God Roman Quinn didn't get hit in that situation. Gets the second out of the inning. Conforto flies out. J.D. Davis walks, so you got 2 runners on. You got Dominic Smith coming up to the plate. I think it was originally a 3-1, 3-0 count at some point, but then Alvarado fought back into the count and eventually gets Dom Smith striking out swinging. You see the energy from Alvarado just going crazy. Then he's chirping at Dom because you see Dom Smith asking the umpire, was that a strike or not, when the pitch was literally right down the middle of the pipe. So you also see from the replay Alvarado saying the pitch was down the middle, and then he throws his glove on the ground. Dom Smith starts chirping back. Both benches clear. Bullpens come onto the field. Alvarado having to get held back by Bohm. Dom Smith having to get held back. Alvarado does get thrown out of the game for that, but just a electrifying situation from a very boring ball game, and I loved it. I loved every second of it. It showcased the fire between these two teams. These two teams do not like each other, and it just showcases that the rivalry between the Phillies and the Mets is back, and I love it. I loved every single second of it, and also you can kind of see that intensity between Alvarado and Dom Smith, because if you go back to the last series a couple of weeks ago in New York, Alvarado hit Michael Conforto with a pitch in his first pitch at that at bat, and then Dom Smith was chirping at Alvarado about saying you did it on purpose, because that was eventually after the situation when Conforto got the controversial hit by pitch, which allowed the Mets to win the game against the Marlins. But I guess there was a little bit of animosity because Alvarado was chirping back at him saying he didn't do it on purpose. So I guess you see that intensity between these two guys, just the intensity between the two teams. And then you go to the bottom of the 8th inning, Rhys Hoskins at bat, Castro's on the mound for the Mets, and then this dude can't locate it all facing Rhys Hoskins. Then the pitch to Walken was way too inside, almost hit him. It was a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. Then you get Rhys just giving him the death stare walking down the first base line. And then Castro is chirping at Rhys Hoskins, and the benches have to clear again. The bullpens just stood there in center field just like, okay, what's happening right now? But yeah, just a fun 8th inning. It was a very fun 8th inning. Then Coonrod comes out in the 9th inning for the Phillies, and he did his job. He gets McCann to ground out. He gets Pilar striking out. Brandon Nimmo does eventually walk because he couldn't throw a strike. Well, Nimmo didn't choose to swing. I think it was like a 3-1 count or something like that. And then as Brandon Nimmo does, because he is such a tool, because he walks but runs over the first base when he gets to walk. And that is such the... It's such the dorkiest thing to do, too, when you get a walk just to sprint over the first base. He's such a tool. I don't know why I hate that, but I just do. It's just something that I see every time when he walks and he runs the first base. I have no idea why, but I just absolutely despise it. I don't know why. I think it's just something that just like... I don't know. It just makes my skin crawl when that happens. And then you get Lindor, the final batter of the game, and then Rhys Hoskins making a nice sprawling play at first base to prevent a hit, which could have brought Nimmo over the third base. He makes the nice play. Lindor grounds out, and that's how your ball game ends. And the Phillies win this one by a score of 2-1. And the Phillies, they only had 3 hits in this ball game, so yeah, that clearly shows you the offensive abilities today from the lineup was really, really quiet. Definitely a major non-offensive game. So we look at the pitching stats from the box score. Anderson, like I said, for what he provided on the mound tonight, was the best possible thing you could have asked out of him in a 5th starter. Goes 5 innings, 5 hits allowed, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. Perfectly fine. definitely hit one of his definitely his best start of the season in a Phillies uniform, and he put you into a position to win the ball game. And even though the Mets, they had all their chances to score, Anderson was able to get out of those situations. Jojo Romero does come in. He allows the hit to score the run, but that run gets charged to Anderson in that 6th inning. So Romero goes that 6th inning, allows 1 hit, 1 walk, so he gets out of that without allowing any more runs. Kinsler comes in for the 7th inning, pitches that full thing, strikes out 2, so good appearance for him. Alvarado, we all know the situation that happened. He pitched a full inning, 1 walk, 1 strikeout, and then made an entire bench clear. And then Coonrod comes in for the 9th inning, does the job, gets 1 walk and 1 strikeout. He seals the deal in the 9th inning for the Phillies. If we go to the lineup, really not much going on here. Andrew McCutchen goes 0 for 4. Matt Joyce goes 0 for 4. Rhys Hoskins goes 0 for 3. Brad Miller got one of the hits for the Phillies. He goes 1 for 4. Alec Boehm goes 0 for 4. Nick Maton goes 0 for 3. Andrew Knapp got a hit. He went 1 for 2. Odubel Herrera actually got a hit today. It was a bunt single down the left field line, so he goes 1 for 2. And Chase Anderson, probably the best at bat of the day because it was the only resultant thing in the 2 runs with that strikeout wild pitch blow. Man, it's just like, out of all the things that could have happened, because I know that the Phillies lost yesterday to a wild pitch, so I guess it makes sense that they scored their only 2 runs today because of a wild pitch by Stroman. And Stroman did come out of the ball game earlier than expected. He only pitched 5 innings in this game, and we really didn't expect him to come out so early, but apparently during postgame they said he had hamstring tightness, so that probably explains why he came out so early, because he definitely was dealing. He had 8 strikeouts in this ballgame, and the Phillies struck out 12 times. So, yeah, definitely the Mets pitching was also dealing at that same standpoint. But, hey, Phillies won where it mattered. They did. So, hey, they got their win the series, and it sets up a lot of intensity going into tomorrow's game. Definitely does. You got Zach Wheeler on the mound tomorrow versus Taijuan Walker. It's a 6:05 game. Is that a Fox game? I'm actually very curious. Because it's weird, because it's a 6:05 start. Okay, no, it's not it's not a nationally televised game. So that game, it's like a weird scene, 6:05 on us. Like, that's just an odd time in my opinion. Like, I can understand maybe like a 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock game, but 6, it's a little weird. But then you also have the Sunday game. It's Peterson going up against Zach Eflin. That's a 7:08 start, which I would assume that is a nationally televised game. Yes, that is an ESPN game on Sunday. So, hey, we got this little animosity leading up towards a nationally televised game. So, you never know what's going to happen this weekend. So, they get their first win in this series. I lost my train of thought for that little bit of seconds. And hey, the Phillies are actually in first place. They are even at 500 at 13-13. They're a game ahead of the Braves. They're a game ahead of the Nationals. They're a game ahead of the Mets and a game ahead of the Marlins. So, let's rejoice for a little bit. So, the Phillies got their win today. Let's see what the intensity can bring tomorrow with Zach Wheeler on the mound. And hey, it was just a fun game at that ending, so brought the excitement. It definitely did. And it's just been a weird season to start out, so this game was fun. This game's ending was really, really fun, and I really enjoyed it a lot. So, what are your guys' thoughts on this ball game? Your thoughts on Alvarado's excitement in that 8th inning? I want to hear all your thoughts down below with the rivalry being pumped up even more. So don't forget to leave your comments down in the comment section below. Don't forget to drop a like on this video. Don't forget to check out the Painted Lions, which I am a part of. Their links will be down in the description below as well. Don't forget to check the links to the Flyer to Pod merchandise website, and also for Flyers Nitty Gritty, they will also be down in the description below. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, everyone, and I will see you next time.